A family home visit turned into a nightmare when my stepsisters got exposed in front of everyone. So this all went down about 2 months ago, but it's still living rent-free in my head because I honestly can't believe it happened the way it did. For context, Donna is my stepsister, 26, and we've always had kind of a weird relationship. Not openly hostile, but competitive. She has this way of smiling sweetly in front of parents and then stabbing you in the back when no one's looking. I'm 24, and I had just moved back home for a couple of weeks while my apartment was being renovated. My mom and stepdad were thrilled because it felt like the whole family together again. My stepdad especially pushed for family dinners every night, something Donna usually avoided since she lived in another city, but that week she just so happened to visit. At first, it felt kinda nice. We were all sitting around the big oak table in the dining room, my mom pouring wine, my stepdad telling dad jokes that weren't even funny, but everyone laughed anyway. Donna was in rare form, complimenting my mom's cooking, teasing me like we were kids again. I actually thought, wow, maybe she's changed. But then things got weird. One night after dinner, I went up to my old room to grab my laptop and I saw Donna sitting on my bed. She was scrolling through something on her phone and didn't notice me right away. When she looked up, she gave me this fake surprise grin and said, "Oh, I was just checking something." Now, here's the thing, my laptop was open. She had my emails pulled up. I froze. "What the hell are you doing?" I asked. She laughed nervously. Relaxed, I just clicked the wrong thing, chill. But I could see she had been reading a very specific email, one I had sent to my boss about a possible internal promotion. Nobody in family even knew about it yet. I shut the laptop and told her to get out. She rolled her eyes and muttered something under her breath like, "You think you're so special." I should have known then she was planning something, but I brushed it off. Big mistake. 2 days later, at Sunday dinner, my stepdad suggested we all go around the table and share some good news. He started with my mom, who announced her garden was finally producing cucumbers, then himself he closed some business deal, then Donna. Donna gave this coy little smirk and said, "Well, I actually heard something very interesting about my name." Everyone turned to me. My mom was smiling, expecting me to reveal something fun. Donna continued, "Apparently, someone's been keeping secrets the promotion didn't want to share with the family." The table went dead silent. I felt every eye on me. I managed, that's not even finalized yet. I didn't tell anyone because it wasn't certain. Donna leaned back in her chair and said loudly, "Oh, sure, keep it all hush-hush. Like you're better than us, typical." The worst part. My stepdad laughed and said, "Well, you could have at least told us we're family." And just like that, Donna made me look like a selfish jerk in front of everyone. I wanted to crawl under the table. I swear I could feel my face burning red. My mom tried to smooth things over, saying, "Oh, come on, Donna, don't make it sound like that. My name probably just didn't want to jinx it." But the damage was already done. I felt exposed, like she had ripped open something personal just to get a reaction. Donna shrugged, swirling her wine like she was a star of some reality TV show. "I'm just saying, if I had something exciting going on, I'd share it. Family first, right?" She tilted her head and gave me this smug look that made my stomach twist. I wanted to snap, but I held back because I didn't want to cause a scene in front of everyone. My stepdad chuckled again and said, "Well, hopefully you'll bring us the good news soon." My mom gave me this pity smile, and I just nodded, trying to swallow my anger. After dinner, I cornered Donna in the hallway. "What the hell was that? You went through my emails and then decided to air my business like it's entertainment." She widened her eyes, all innocent. "Oh, please, don't be so dramatic. Everyone deserves to know what's happening in the family." I hissed no, "You just wanted to humiliate me." She leaned in, lowering her voice. "Maybe, but you make it too easy, always acting like you're the golden child. Someone has to put you in your place." Then she smirked and walked away like she'd won some competition. I stood there shaking, torn between fury and embarrassment. The worst part was, she wasn't even wrong about the golden child thing. My mom and stepdad do treat me a little differently, partly because I've been more stable than Donna, who's bounced between jobs and apartments. But that didn't mean I deserved to be ambushed at the dinner table. The next morning, I overheard my mom and stepdad in the kitchen. My mom said, "I think my name was upset last night. Donna shouldn't have said that." My stepdad responded, "They'll be fine. Siblings tease each other. Don't make it a big deal." That stung even more. Teasing. She invaded my privacy, then painted me like some arrogant liar. And nobody seemed to care. By Tuesday, Donna was still hanging around the house way longer than her quick visit was supposed to last. She acted like nothing had happened. She even offered to make pancakes one morning, like she was the perfect house guest. But I noticed how she slipped little digs into conversations, always just subtle enough that my mom didn't catch on. For example, when my mom complimented me on helping her around the house, Donna piped up, "Yeah, when my name isn't too busy with secret projects." She smiled sweetly afterward, like it was a joke. Everyone laughed, but I felt the knife twist again. I started realizing she wasn't just trying to embarrass me once, she was on a mission. And then the real pain. It happened on Wednesday evening. I was in the living room, catching up on some work emails, when Donna wandered in carrying her laptop. "Hey, thought I'd show you something funny," she said, plopping down on the couch next to me. I immediately tense. "What do you want, Donna?" I asked cautiously. She smiled, all sweet and fake. "Relax, it's just a little family drama, you'll see." Before I could stop her, she opened her laptop and projected a screen onto the living room TV. And there it was, a slideshow of screenshots. My emails, my work chats, private conversations with my friends, even a couple of texts I had sent to my boyfriend, all highlighted with captions she'd written herself. Things like, "Look at how secretive they are and golden child thinks they're untouchable." I froze. "You stole my stuff, Donna? This is insane." She leaned back, laughing softly. "Oh, don't be dramatic. I just wanted to make it educational, show everyone how careful they should be with their little secrets." At that moment, my mom walked in. Her eyes widened at the screen. "Donna, what is this?" "Oh, just showing some family highlights," Donna said, like she hadn't just exposed my life in the most humiliating way possible. I could feel my face flush hotter than ever. "Mom, it's private. None of this is supposed to be public." My mom, looking confused and a little hurt, said, I didn't know you were hiding so much." She turned to Donna. "Is this true?" Donna nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, and honestly, I think it's important for everyone to know who they're dealing with. Transparency, right?" I couldn't even speak. My stepdad, who had been watching silently from the hallway, finally said, "Well, that's fair, but maybe this could have been handled differently." "No, come on," Donna snapped. I'm not the bad guy, I'm the one bringing clarity. My mom looked on. I don't know what I mean. She glanced at me, then back at Donna. This is a lot. I felt like the floor could swallow me whole. Every little detail I'd kept to myself, every private thought, all turned into a public spectacle. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to do anything to stop the humiliation. And yet the worst part was how calm and collected Donna looked. She was savouring every second. She planned this. The sly little smirk on her face made my stomach twist in knots. After what felt like hours, I finally managed. You've crossed a line, Donna. You're not a hero, you're cruel. She shrugged, closing her laptop. Maybe I'm just honest. You can't handle it. That's on you. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept replaying the moment over and over. My own stepsister had turned my private life into a circus. And worse, she had done it right under the noses of the people who were supposed to have my back. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. And I knew it wasn't over. The next morning felt heavier than usual. Breakfast was tense, almost painfully quiet, aside from the occasional clink of silverware. My mom kept glancing at me nervously, probably unsure if she should say something about Donna's slideshow stunt, and my stepdad seemed unusually distant, scrolling through his phone instead of joining the conversation. Donna, of course, acted like nothing had happened, humming while pouring herself a cup of coffee. I couldn't take it anymore. Mom, Dad, I started cautiously. We need to talk about what happened last night. My mom sighed, brushing her hair back. Sweetie, Donna was just trying to show you something, you know? Trying to show me something? I almost shouted. She broadcasted my private emails and texts to the whole family. That's not trying to show anything, Mom, that's a betrayal. Donna snorted from across the table. Oh please, don't act like I invented secrets. You were hiding stuff from all of us anyway. I froze, feeling my temper spike. That's different. I wasn't planning on embarrassing anyone, and I certainly wasn't planning on humiliating you all. My stepdad finally looked up, frowning. Donna, maybe you went a little too far. Too far? Donna's voice was sharp now, louder than intended. They've been acting all high and mighty, and no one's ever called them out. I'm just pointing out the truth. I could feel my hand shaking. Every time she used that word, the truth, I wanted to scream. She wasn't telling the truth, she was twisting it, turning it into a weapon. That's when my little brother, Jamie, who's only 19 and usually quiet, spoke up. Donna, you went way overboard. You made my name look like a jerk for no reason. Donna rolled her eyes, dismissing him. He's just sensitive, can't handle honesty. Jamie shot me a look that was half sympathy, half frustration. I wanted to hug him, but I had to stay composed. I took a deep breath and tried a different tactic. Donna, listen, I get that we've had issues, but invading my privacy and putting me on display like that's not just honesty, that's betrayal, and it stops now. You cannot do this in front of the family ever again. She leaned back, pretending to think. Maybe, but maybe I'll just keep doing it. You'll see the benefit, eventually. At that moment, my mom finally snapped. Donna, enough, this is ridiculous. You have to apologize right now. You humiliated my name in our own home. That's not okay, and it doesn't matter what you think is honest. Donna looked at her like she was crazy. Apologize for showing the family the truth? Never. I felt the anger rise, sharp and hot. Then I guess you've made it very clear where you stand, and that's your choice, but don't expect me to just let it slide, ever. The rest of breakfast was a cold silence. Donna sipped her coffee with that same smug grin. My mom looked shaken, and my stepdad finally muttered something about family dynamics being complicated. It was the first real crack in the family's perfect little image. And I knew this wasn't just a battle over emails. This was going to become a war. By Friday, the tension at home was almost unbearable. Donna had this uncanny ability to weave herself into every conversation, every family interaction, acting like she was the centre of attention without anyone noticing how calculated it was. She would casually drop little reminders of my secrets in front of the family in my work emails, personal texts, even opinions I thought were private. And every time, my mom and stepdad would give a half-hearted reaction, as if brushing it off would somehow make it less humiliating. That evening, the tipping point came during dinner. My cousin Mark, who was visiting from out of town, made the mistake of joking about my potential promotion. Donna instantly chimed in, loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. Oh, my name, don't act like they've been honest about it. We all know they've been hiding it from us, all the secret emails, the texts, quite the golden child act. Ha. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. My mom's fork clattered onto her plate, and my stepdad's mouth opened, then closed. Mark looked between us, bewildered, unsure if this was a joke or something serious. I couldn't take it anymore. Donna, stop. You're humiliating me in front of everyone. She leaned back, bothered, and smirked. Oh, come on, I'm just being informative. Family deserves the truth, right? I could feel tears welling up, but I forced myself to stay standing. This isn't truth, this is betrayal. You went through my private stuff, manipulated it, and made me look like a liar. My mom finally spoke, her voice trembling. Donna, that's enough. You have gone too far this time. Apologize. Donna laughed softly. Apologize for exposing hypocrisy? Never. I'm just shining a light. And that's when I lost it. I grabbed my chair and slammed it back, making the metal-like screech across the hardwood floor. Shining a light? You're a snake. You've spent the last week trying to ruin me in front of everyone, and you're proud of it. Everyone froze. Donna's smug expression faltered for the briefest second. My mom's hands flew to her mouth, and my stepdad stood up, looking both shocked and helpless. Mark just sat there, wide-eyed. I could feel my heart pounding in my ears. I took a step closer to Donna. You think this is funny? Making your step-sibling look like a fool in their own home? For a moment, the room was completely silent. And then Donna finally said, almost softly, maybe I went too far this time. It wasn't a full apology, but it was the first crack in her armor. I stared at her, breathing heavily, unsure if I could even trust it. My mom exhaled, like the tension finally lifted a fraction, and my stepdad muttered something about needing to reevaluate family rules. The public humiliation had reached its peak. Everyone in that room knew exactly what had happened, and Donna's little power play had been exposed, and not just for me, but for her too. I slumped into my chair, exhausted. Part of me was relieved, part of me was furious, and part of me was still shaking from the adrenaline. Well, one thing was certain, this battle wasn't over. Not entirely. But for now, I had survived. The next morning felt almost surreal. Breakfast was quiet, but the air was lighter. Somehow the tension from the previous night still lingered, but at least the bombshell had exploded and everyone had seen what was really going on. Donna, surprisingly, kept to herself, sipping her coffee and scrolling on her phone. I wasn't sure if she was plotting her next move or genuinely reflecting, but either way, I was done giving her the satisfaction of my reaction. I decided to take a walk outside to clear my head. The crisp morning air helped a little, but I couldn't shake the humiliation from the night before. My phone buzzed. It was a message from my cousin Mark. Saw what happened last night. That was insane. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Reading that made me feel a little better. At least someone outside the immediate chaos understood. Later that day, my mom pulled me aside in the kitchen. Sweetie, I want you to know I see how upset you are. Donna went too far, and I should have stopped it sooner. I'm sorry. Her apology hit me hard. I could tell it was sincere, and I finally allowed myself to feel some relief. Thanks, Mom. It's just I never expected her to go this far in front of everyone. I feel humiliated. She nodded. I know, and we'll make sure she understands this behaviour isn't acceptable. You don't have to deal with it alone. By mid-afternoon, the family decided to have a serious talk with Donna. My stepdad called her into the living room while the rest of us waited nearby. From the hallway, I could hear snippets of the conversation. You've crossed the line, Donna, my stepdad said firmly. I guess I got carried away, she replied, her tone a little softer than usual. You humiliated your step-sibling in their own home. That's not acceptable, my mom added. I understand. I'm sorry, Donna muttered, almost inaudibly. It wasn't the grand, dramatic apology. She still had that tiny hint of smugness lingering, but it was something. Enough for me to breathe a little easier. Over the next few days, Donna stayed a little quieter. She avoided throwing digs or sly comments my way, and the family dynamic slowly began to normalize. I still didn't fully trust her, and I knew that some scars would remain, but the overt humiliation was over. I spent the rest of my visit quietly, focusing on small joys, catching up with my little brother Jamie, watching old family movies with my mom, and even sharing a few laughs with Donna cautiously, from a safe distance. I realized that while betrayal can cut deep, exposure and confrontation sometimes bring relief too. By the time I moved back into my apartment, I felt a mix of exhaustion and empowerment. The family had seen the truth. Donna had been called out, and I had finally stood my ground. I wasn't sure what the next visit would bring, but one thing was certain. I wouldn't let anyone, not even my stepsister, publicly humiliate me again. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. And sometimes surviving the storm is the victory. By the end of my visit, things had mostly returned to a fragile normal. Donna had reverted to her usual charm, smiling and laughing as if the past week's chaos hadn't happened. But I could see it in her eyes that the edge was gone, replaced by something like caution. Not remorse exactly, but a recognition that a little power plays no longer work the way they used to. I spent the last night before leaving my parents' house reflecting on everything that had happened. I realized just how toxic her behavior could be when left unchecked, but I also understood that confronting it openly had shifted the balance. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was someone who had called out betrayal in front of the entire family, and that mattered. My mom came into my room to say goodnight. I'm proud of how you handled everything, she said softly. Donna pushed boundaries, but you stayed firm. That's not easy. I smiled faintly. Thanks, Mom. I don't want her to ever feel like she can do that again. She nodded. She won't. And even if she tries, at least you've set your limits. The next morning, during breakfast, there was a sense of cautious peace. Donna made a small effort to be genuinely nice, complimenting my mom's cooking without sneaky comments or jabs. My stepdad even made a joke that got everyone laughing, a genuine laugh, not forced, and I realized that the family had survived the drama together, somehow. Before I left, I had a final conversation with Donna in the living room. Look, I said, keeping my voice steady, what happened last week was beyond wrong. You humiliated me, and it won't happen again. I'm not asking you to like me, but I'm asking you to respect me. She stared at me for a long moment, then finally said, fine, I get it, I'll try. Not a perfect apology, not full acknowledgement, but a step. Enough for now. Driving away from my parents' house, I felt a strange mixture of relief and lingering tension. Betrayal by family is a bitter thing, especially when it's step-siblings who are supposed to be allies, or at least neutral. But I had survived, and I had survived publicly, which was something I never thought I could do without completely losing my composure. I knew Donna, and I would always have this complicated history, a mixture of rivalry, resentment, and occasional affection, but I also knew that I had drawn a clear line. Public humiliation, invading privacy, and manipulative digs. Those were no longer weapons she could use against me. Sometimes family drama feels endless, like it will swallow you whole. But facing it head-on, even when it's terrifying and humiliating, can be strangely empowering. I don't know what will happen the next time she visits, but one thing is certain, I'm done being silent. And if she ever tries to betray me again in front of the family, I'm ready. For now I can breathe.